I take such offense to the people that just act like it doesn't matter if you love your country or not. I mean, that's a lot of our own fault too, though, is we let the education system stop. You know, it's like people just believe that, no, in America the government tells you what to do and you do it. It's like, no, America was the opposite of that. It truly was. America was the break out of your shell, with the pilgrims coming here saying our king is going to be Jesus Christ, because then no man can come in and tell us what to do. And yet now look at where we're at. Did you know there was a time in this country when, I was shocked to hear this, but it's true, when children, they were at very early ages, parents were already homeschooling them, getting them ready to read so that by the time they were 5 or 6, they could fully read and they would go into school. Can you imagine that? Look at it. There's kids, coming out of school that don't even know how to read. No more cursive. Look how they got rid of that, just to dumb everything down. So that would never, ever happen if you have God protecting your country. But you get more regulations, you get more laws on you, you get more taxes on you, the more people turn away from God. And yet they keep people so busy with bullshit. Like, it is ridiculous as a nurse. Why do we have resumes when you give, put it online or send it to a recruiter or an employer, whatever, and then they say go online and fill out every box for wherever you've ever worked? Then why do I have a resume? Like, they just want to make meaningless jobs like for you to do, like with when you do travel, you have to do all this testing. It's like, I have a license, but they'll send you test after test after test and say this is required, that, I mean, it's an ordeal. It's almost overwhelming at times because they just add more and more to the list. And I noticed when I working in hospitals over the last several years anyway, the last 10, that what I could see they were doing, whether it was American Nurses Association or the hospital system, is because any nurse knows this, that you constantly have health streams. These are ridiculous tests they make you do all the time. They overwhelm you with so many, and they make it to where they take longer and longer and longer to do. And I realize they do this stupid shit. And they say, oh, no, it's for regulation and this and that. Yeah, they're full of shit. They just are. I'm not talking about like, you have to get your CPR every year or that. I'm talking about stuff that's like every month you need to do this and that. And they just add more and more to it. And it's really to keep you busy while they continue to destroy the country. It is. Because think about how many meaningless things you do that could be totally eliminated, don't need to be taking so much time doing this pointless stuff. Yet I know nurses, and I'm one of them in my history as a nurse, with health streams where you'll have some 150 to do, and it's like, because you didn't realize that they were just piling up. And they make it to where you have to stay on a question for so long. They do it to waste your time. They do. They do it to waste your time. Any little bit of your time to take away for doing meaningless bullshit, they will do, because it will keep you distracted. It's another way to keep you distracted and not focus. Like they don't want you to be thinking on your own. That's what I realized it was all about. Because they would just bring in stupid stuff, and they just add more and more. I don't know if other jobs do that, but in nursing they do. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that as time goes on and all this technology, that it takes longer to fill out an application and not, it should be simpler, right? But everything seems to be worse as we advance in technology and we advance in years. It takes longer to fill out an application for a job that you're totally qualified. It takes long, we have more viruses, more diseases, more problems, less solutions, less cures, less care. Everything's declined. Even RFK Jr.'s talked about that. How, we went from when he was a kid to having like 3 or 4 vaccines you got to it's 75 that kids get. And then nobody thinks about, well, is that why we have this increase in this and that? And I don't know. I'm just, I'm just saying. Nobody ever stops to think about that. No, you don't have time to, because they have you busy doing meaningless, pointless shit on the computer. That's what doctors and nurses spend the most time on now, is charting. That's why they don't want to give you staff. They don't want you to help people. Not in psych, not in my opinion. They don't. They just want to stress you out. And any way they can. That's why you just have to say, oh, I'm not going to let you stress me out. But it gets ridiculous. And the whole point to doing that is, we advanced. We should have not so much of that crap to do. But they don't want you to think on your own. They want to do your thinking for you. And the more they can do it, and you're just doing all this mindless, stupid shit that you hate, then the more you get used to them, being your brain for you. Because by the end of the day, you're just like, I'm exhausted. And what did I do today? I didn't get to spend any time with patients as a psych nurse. No, I was too busy having to do a bunch of health streams. Or I was too busy because we were so short-staffed, just running, pulling my hair out. And then all the charting nurses have to do, because there's one pop-up and another. And where I'm at, it's paper charting. It's really archaic. But it's still all the paper chart. There's so many ways to make things more simple, but you suggest something that's more simple, and they say, nope, you can't do that. We have to kill more trees. Instead of putting all the meds when the patient is admitted, instead of putting them all and having a patient sign it, for consent of meds, and putting them all on one sheet. Nope, we have to have separate sheets for all of them. It gets more and more ridiculous. And now, even with the medicine, we can't just put the brand name, let's say, Tylenol. Now you have to put a Tylenol /acetaminophen. Down to the little stupid things like that. And to some people, it may seem like, well, that's safe. It's no, it's just a way to continue to control you. It really is. That's what, because I see what doctors have to do with all these computers and, for billing and all. It's ridiculous. I don't know if people understand what I'm trying to say here, but if you think back about how easy it used to be to apply to a job and realize, boy, it's a whole long process now. Yeah, it's like applying for a home or something. You used to be able to just go into a place, when you literally have a resume that has all your, why do we have a resume and it's online for you, and then you're going to send people to, it's all that little stuff that they deliberately do that I don't think people pick up on. Because we should have an easier society today. We should have a freer society today. But we don't, because the number one reason is because we turned away from God. But if we want to get out from under that, because I don't think there's a need for all that unnecessary crap. There's so much waste, and I'm sure it's in every profession that could be eliminated, and freeing people up of this nonsense, doing nothing. There's so many things that could be perfect in this country, better than ever. But these communists, these globalists, they need to be given a back seat. It's time for them to take a step back.